Xin chào, girls, boys, and every other gender people, and welcome back to Evil GM Streams live on YouTube. just had a game, and now I'm ready to roll. Tonight on channel YouTube. When life gives you lemons, you make cider out of it. It's hold on. Yes, controls are working fine. So many hours of Mr. Smalek, Borat thing. Alcohol. I'm in a country where alcohol consumption starts ever since you're in I don't know, fifth, sixth grade nowadays. I mean, back in my days, I think the kids started drinking when they went to what was that, seventh grade, I suppose. And well, did I ever do it? No. I started drinking. Well, technically, I never started drinking at all. You know, because like I said, at some point, my metabolism ain't that good against alcohol. I have a body of an Asian girl who cannot tolerate, has the enzymes to break all the alcohols in the body into little tiny pieces. And yeah, some people would say that, well, you get drunk easier, right? That's cheap. But hey, I might get alcohol poisoning easier also. Have you thought about that? Yeah, and that ain't nice. There we go. Uh, yeah, that ain't nice. Hold on, do I have a bomb? Uh, Besides, I don't like the taste of alcohol itself. It's just not my taste. Uh, do I drink beer? Any beer? Well, there used to be a beer called Two Dogs, Australian beer, I think. And the taste of that dog, it's not really it didn't resemble beer at all. Some people would actually say it's not even beer. It's something that resembles a beer, but it's not a beer in their books. That's why it actually fit me. And when it comes to ciders, I think Summersby is a kind of beer that would fit, you know, my taste, because it actually tastes like a soda or a lemonade. And then and thusly it serves my purpose much better. Do I like the there you go. Do I like the oh, do I like the taste of any other alcohol things? Well, champagne. Champagne I do not like. It's way too dry. And when it comes to wines per se, I've been trying to you know, get used to this stuff. Try to learn, sip little by little, spot all the nuances and then what do you say? You know, the small fragrances and different tastes of red wine and white wine. and I do spot some. I'm not a wine expert though, but I do spot some sort of differences between the wines, and well, it's not something that I would actually fancy. And so far, there has only been one type of red wine that I can actually drink. White wines are easier because they tend to be sweeter than most of the wines. But when it comes to red wines, most of them are just way too dry. And if you do not know the term dry, uh, how would I explain? It's not sweet. It's like opposite of sweet. I'm not talking about the uh, the saltiness. I'm talking about how bitter or hold on. Can I blow up two at a time? Yes, yes I can. Um, do salty, 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 dry. It's not. It's close to bitterness, except it's not, and it's also close to. It's. I'm really trying to figure out the words here. It's not bitter. It's not salty. I I just call it dry. More more vocabulary definitely needed here. Um, sour? No, not sour. Definitely not sour. Uh, close to bitter, I'd say. Just something like that. Something like that. Boom. And D. What? Well, I was saying. I was saying, telling about the taste that I do prefer in white wines. I mean, red wines. There's this wine called Amarone, and that wine, dear people, is not any type of regular wine that you can find out there. It's a wine that is made out of dried dried raisins. No, dried grapes, and they start to resemble raisin, uh, you know, juice. No. Actually, wine made out of raisins. And what it actually does is that it concentrates the taste and flavors of the wine itself. It's uh, it's like dry aging your steak, if you know what I mean. When you dry age your steak, there's uh, there's more flavors and tastes to it, and when you dry age your grapes and make wine out of it, you get more flavors, deep flavors, flavors with layers, and that is Amarone is like type of it's just a type of wine. It's like the dry aged beef of the wine world. It usually costs more than a regular wine. It's not definitely not one of those cheap ones. It belongs to the uh, upper level, high class wines, and it's also sort of stuff that I'm ready to pay. There, that way. I'm ready to pay more. It's not that I still like it as much as. It's not something like that I would drink every day or every week either, or every month. It's more like I would drink Amarone wine once or twice in a year. It's a special wine, and thus it keeps its speciality better if you know save the flavor for rare occasions. Uh, when it comes to other drinks, other drinks like ciders, well, if they're sweet enough, I can definitely drink them down because you know I'm a slave to you. I'm a slave for whatever. I have a sweet tooth. Let's just say that. And me getting that piece of hmm? Oh, just enough. Thank you. Uh, if I get a drink like summer bee or whatever you want to call it, summer bee, it, that is something that fits my palate much better because I am a I like sweet things, and summer bee doesn't taste like cider. The problem with some ciders are that they're just they're just so dry. Also, you know, has this a small bitter flavor to it, and well, when it comes for drinks, I usually prefer cocktails. Why cocktails? You can have different kind of drinks out of cocktails. You can add jam and you can add fruits and berries and you can make them a bit sour and sweet and you can customize them. I like my Bloody Marys. I like my Virgin Marys. I like what other there are. The one with sour apple thingy. That's okay too. But I do sangria. I love making sangria myself. I got a recipe from Spain when I worked there years and years ago, and that, Spain was also the place that where I fell in love with gazpacho. Well, if I can drink a Bloody Mary, I suppose I can drink. Dang it! I suppose I can drink. If I can drink gazpacho, I can drink Bloody Mary also. Although some wouldn't say that you're drinking gazpacho, you're more like eating gazpacho. Come on, just one more. Did I walk into that? Yes, I did. Please pop up. Thank you. Survival. Here we come. um. Nah, I'm not gonna sidetrack that much. Beer. I have used beer in cooking. I have made pork knuckles in dark beer. I have made pork knuckles in cider. I have made beer sauce, and I haven't used that much beer or cider in cooking. Some, but not as much as you'd think. And when it comes to when it comes to red wine sauce or white wine sauce, surprisingly little. Something like maybe 20% of the time uh, for cooking. Last time what I do remember the using the red wine was when I made a red wine black candy salty licorice sauce. And you know, the people in North Finland, well, technically they're not North Finland, but I just call it North Finland because they're so far away from this southern metropolitan area. And dang it. And Oi, get over here. Thank you. they're they're famous of oh boy. Oh boy. This room again. They are famous from loving the black candies, the salty licorice. Yeah, that's what they like. They love it and they know it. I used I what I basically did is just just a regular red wine sauce, and I added uh, black licorice to it, or black candies, and the outcome was like, well, like anise type, created interesting flavors that actually fit the lamb or any kind of red meat just well. Uh, Feck. But what's the worst type of alcoholism or getting drunk in my experiences? Well, back in the day when I was working in Savoy, it's a really fancy restaurant, like fine dining level, and we had a rough night, and everything was like, oh, it's been a long day. Let's celebrate it a bit," said the head chef, and he started, opening up bottles of beers, just basic regular beer, and offered everybody one. And I was like, "Oh no, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good at all." And he was like, "Hey, if uh, if you don't dare to drink, you ain't the real thing." And uh, guess I didn't drink at the work. I was like, "Okay, sure, I'll I'll give it a shot, I guess." And then what happened? Well, I was freaking wasted. From one bottle of beer? Yes, because I'm not the sort of person who drinks. So it just hit my head like a freaking Thor's hammer hit the earth when it dropped down. Ugh. And I was walking like in the S formation like a snake. from the workplace all the way to, dang it, all the way to the railway station in the capital. And I really tried to walk straight, but that was a freaking challenge. It was a freaking challenge that was way easier than this one. And dang, that felt awful. When I finally reached home, I just threw up, vomited in the sink, and just straight passed passed away. No, 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 wait, that's not the right word. Not passed away. I just fell asleep, you know, immediately after that. And the next day, I felt dang awful. If you ever had, uh, if you ever had hangovers, you know what I'm talking about. And if somebody does not, it felt like I was gonna throw up all the time, and every freaking voice that you would hear is too loud and just rings inside your brains, and you couldn't tolerate anything that comes with such a high note of voice. You wanted things to keep down, and you wanted to move slowly, and also you wanted to take things easily, because it was, dang it, because it's one of these it felt like the end of the world. It really did. It just felt like the freaking end of the world. uh, and after that, I just didn't want to consume alcohol that much anymore. Hey, easy for me, you know, suffering the effects of alcohol poisoning so freaking easily. Uh, if there was other time also when I suffered such a heavy hit and loss against alcoholism. Well, I wouldn't call it alcoholism, just an experience with alcohol. Was when was when I was in Spain. I was in Spain with my uh, roommate back then, because we went to same school, and the culinary school, that is. We went to same culinary school, and we had this work session. Our When we're supposed to, get the experience of working in a restaurant by visiting a real, huh, by visiting a real restaurant. And you could pick basically any restaurant you want, but this one, we decided to go to Spain. Now, first we actually decided to go uh, to France, to this uh, culinary academy, and get our diplomas over there, but it didn't. Oh, fudge. Uh, we Unfortunately, there was like one student who wanted to visit Spain, and then the teachers just decided that, hey, just don't go to different places. Why don't all of you just go to the same place? Make all the paperwork easier. and they weren't forcing us, but they were. I mean, they were really strongly manipulating us to go. They managed to break him, and well, I just gave up. I thought that fine, fine, if you're going to if you're going to you're not going to France, then I guess I'll be going to Spain too. And everybody was yay, except you know that we actually didn't want to go to Spain. But in the end, it was a positive experience. I learned a lot from the being in Spain, about Spain, and the cuisine of Spanish cuisine. Uh, what else? Well, I learned to like gazpacho. I learned to like Spanish tortillas. You know, the Spanish omelet, that is potato omelet. And I also learned to do excellent sangria. It's a bit more expensive because you don't just mix two items together. There's a lot more than just two. Well, in the middle of a night, I was streaming on YouTube, and nobody else is watching. At least there's nobody in the chat. And am I a wizard? I'm a lizard, Harry. Well, I was talking about the experience of getting drunk. That is okay. I did get. We went to this one brewery where they do sherry, and Spain, at least you know the southern part of Spain near Sevilla. I mean, we stayed at Sevilla near Malaga. They were famous of this Tio Pepe, the place that does makes this sherry lady. It's like sweet alcohol made out of grapes. Yeah, it's like really sweet wine, I guess. Excuse me. If you people know better words for it, just tell it in a comment. But I just call it alcohol made out of grapes that is sweet. And that's how you actually would describe. I mean, that's how I would describe it. And what else there is to it? Not much. Not much, I guess. Oh, I found a nice spot where to dodge. I can stay here. Oh. Uh, it was in the noon. We went there by a train, and we had to wake up freaking early in the morning. And oh dear lord. And okay, uh, it was hot. The temperature was high because it was Spain, and it was also I didn't have any breakfast. So at the end of the tour, uh, as you could guess, we um, we had a small tasting of Spanish ham, and I mean cured ham, and also few sherries. And boy, that that hit my head quite well. You know, there was only just just the bottom of a sherry glass, but it was more than enough for me because I cannot tolerate that amount of alcohol. Definitely not. And and well, I had trouble articulating at that point, and I could feel my cheeks getting stiff, and I could also feel my fingers getting numb and my toes. And usually, when I'm drunk, I uh, I dislike the feeling a lot because I do not have the control of my body, and I want to keep that control, and then it just becomes forced. You have to be extra careful with everything that you do with your body at that point, and 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 also I have to over articulate so that my words would come out. And well, let's just say that generally I don't like being drunk. Never had. It's not a feeling that I find comfortable, amusing, and anything positive. So I never kept my feelings of getting drunk that nice. And at the end of the session of being in Spain, the place where I worked, dang it, the place where I worked, they actually offered me a free meal of appetizer and entree and dessert, and I had to taste the stuff that I never had before, and it was delicious. That's like Spain was one of the places where I had my best steak ever. It was like freaking butter. It was like, and my second best was in Dallas when I visited my brother for the first time. Uh, what will I say? It's 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 um it's not they offered me a free shot of something. It resembled vodka, I think. They kept it in the freezer. They kept it in the freezer so that it's super cold, and well, I knew that it was gonna be a bad idea. Bad idea. Yet I still took it. And boy, the rest of the night was like as horrible as I remember every hangover being. Just not worth it. So, what can we actually say about the usage of alcohol generally, in my point of view? Well, I do not like it. I keep it low. I try to sip little by little and try to avoid drinking into an empty stomach and doing too often because my liver just cannot handle that sort of punishment. It's uh, it's much nicer to do it socially with people with whom around I can actually feel comfortable and safe. But even with that sort of company, I don't think I wouldn't be drinking red wine unless it's Amarone. And that reminds me, I maybe have to take this bottle out just to remember that next week when I'm heading to northern Finland, I won't forget it this time. But hey, thanks for watching. Click the likes, the subs, and the share, and leave a comment, and yada yada yada. And I'll be seeing you again next time, and let's talk something else than my usage of alcohol. All right. Good night.